They say this is the toughest time of the year to fish. But look how beautiful it is out here. We've got real pristine conditions for sunbathing, but they're not that conducive for fishing. So just wanted to get out here and enjoy the peace of the morning. One of the neighbors is out blasting some shots, so I guess that's an end to the peace. But let's head over to the cabin and we'll see what we got going on today. Before it starts getting too warm out, I want to quick give you a well update and let you know where we are on the water situation. When I did my driving to Sandpoint video, I've had a lot of people ask me, well, where's the water at and what's the scoop with it? So I wasn't sure what I was going to do for this week's video because I am still waiting on the parts for the driver that I made. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to reconfigure it. And unfortunately with COVID, some of those parts are missing. And then also the supply house where I get the galvanized piping from, they were short on galvanized pipe. It did come in this morning, but unfortunately with editing and all that other stuff, I'm not going to have the time to do a quick video on it. So here's what I'm going to do. I just wanted to show you, this is the well pipe that we put in behind the cabin. And that's the place where I want to have the bathhouse put. The problem is, whenever you watch these well videos on YouTube, they show a quick 10 to 20 minute video where two people come together, boom, 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 they pound their pipe, and all of a sudden they magically have water and everything is great. That's not the reality of it. I had a guy comment on my water video. He's a bigger YouTube channel than me. I think his channel's called 9 to 5 to Life or something like that. And since then I subscribed to his because he's not too far away from me. He's right up here in the UP, and he's kind of a funny guy to watch, and he has tried to drive a Sandpoint numerous amount of times and never has had real good luck. And he had commented on my video. I forget what the comment was, but it was something about good luck finding water because the poor guy has gone through hell to try to find water. The problem with dowsing rods is I had a video where I showed how dowsing rods work, and they do identify where water is, but they do not tell you how deep the water is. So I'm sure I do have water behind the cabin there, but I haven't been able to get down to it. Right now I'm exceeding the number of feet deep that the pipe is. With a pitcher pump, you cannot go deeper than 25 feet. It has something to do with the science where that pump does not have enough power to draw the water up higher than that 25 feet of lift. So right now I'm actually walking to another section of my property where it is low-lying, and I have water that stands there all summer long. And let's go back there and I'll show you. This is going to be the next place I'm going to target. I purchased another Sandpoint, and I purchased more pipe, and I'm going to let that Sandpoint sit on hold, and we're going to get water from another spot. So I'm going to turn the camera off right now because I've got a little bit of a walk here, and I don't want to get this to be too long and too boring, but I'll show you why I'm choosing this spot. And I think that's something important to talk about in these videos, people just kind of randomly on their videos just go pick a spot and start driving the Sandpoint down, and magically they get water, but that's not the reality. That YouTuber I was talking to, I think if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but I think he drove like a good number of these Sandpoints down, and he wasn't able to get water on any of them. And I felt horrible for him, because every time you drive a Sandpoint, if you get your 5 sections of pipe, which is 25 feet of pipe, you get your Sandpoint, that's usually around $300. So that's a lot of money to lose if you don't find water. So let's think ahead. Let's talk about ideal situations where you can, or you'll be more likely to find water. And I'll take you down there right now, and I'll show you why I'm choosing this area to put the Sandpoint at. Okay, so this is the section of my land that I'm going to be targeting for the Sandpoint well. And the reason why I'm targeting it is, if you look behind me, see how dark the woods are? And watch what happens. See how bright the woods are back in that one spot right there? The reason it's so bright is because that is a standing marsh. And there is water that's in that marsh probably 3/4 of the year. And right behind the camera, there's another marsh where I have standing water. These are good indicators that we are getting lower in elevation, and we're getting closer to the water table. So this is going to be the new spot where I'm going to go ahead and try to put a Sandpoint in. And the trees here don't grow real big. You can see they're just kind of average sized trees. There are a couple bigger trees, like that tree back there. That's probably about 18 inches in diameter. That's a good sized tree, but for the most part, all these trees are smaller trees. And the reason why they're smaller is because there is so much water here that it's not real good soil for regular growth. So these trees, once they get to be any sizable tree, if we get heavy winds, because the ground is so wet and unstable, these trees end up blowing over. Getting nailed by mosquitoes. So I'm going to start walking back and talk at the same time. So this is the area that I'm going to target, because I already know I've got standing groundwater here. Most of the ground around me, I'm actually not in the UP. I'm right on the Wisconsin UP border. So by me here, in the area where I am, there's a ton of hills. I know the video doesn't show it, but there's a ton of hills around me, and there's a lot of change in elevations. The glaciers went through here, and they stripped off all the surface material in this area, and they left behind all these huge buried rocks and boulders. And I'm having a hard time finding a space where I can go through that stuff when I get back to that wet area. Coincidentally, when I look at the soil's sandy. It's more of like a sandy loam, where towards the cabin, I don't hit sand until I dig at least like 4.5, maybe 5 feet down. And then I first start to get some sand mixed with clay. So educate yourself as to what type of soil you should be targeting for your Sandpoint. I can guarantee you, next week, I am going to release the video on driving the Sandpoint, on driving the Sandpoint well back here. I guarantee you I'm going to hit water. This other part, the dowsing rods were showing me that I had water, but when I come back here, they are spinning around and going nuts. I'm not going to do another dowsing video. I already did one of those. The video did okay, but there's no need to show things twice. So the Sandpoint I will make a second video on, because that's a really important part of having a homestead or an off-the-grid cabin. You have to have your own water source. The whole reason that I want to have an off-the-grid cabin is I don't want to be reliant on my government or fellow man for any water or anything like that. I want to be 100% self-sufficient. So that's why I'm really pushing the Sandpoint well issue, and that's why I'm going to make the second video on it. But I'm going to head into town, and I just wanted to make a quick video and give you guys an update on where we stand, because there has been a lot of interaction, people wondering where's the well. You did that now 2-3 weeks ago, and we haven't heard an update. So there it is. That's everything. And I hope that the information that I gave you in this video shed some light too on what you should be looking for. I went into this really naively. I helped my grandpa years ago when I was a teenager, and a lot has changed since then, and there's a lot that I had forgot about. And you know, the first things first, I should have thought before I went and used the dowsing rods here. I should have used common sense and thought, where is the best likely spot to hit water at the homestead? And that's what I went over today, and that's where I think we're going to hit water. Make sure you see next week's video, because I'm willing to stake my reputation on it. We are going to hit water next week. So catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid. And